I hope this works. God, are you gonna focus on me? Whatever. It's been a while. So, I will continue to post things like this on this channel, on the Pleasure Barge. I know that it's been going on a year since I've had anything on the other channel, but I'm holding to what that video at the beginning of the year stated. That channel is now only good solid material, so this is going to be everything else. I have done streams on this channel this year. I may do more, and so this will be a way for me to still do stuff for and with you guys whenever I can. Speaking of, things have gotten even more busy, so it is, I'm going to put this up tonight when I get back to the room, so I think it's the 9th right now. I flew up here October 14th, and no, it's the 10th. It is November 10th. I flew up here October 14th, the day that we drove back from Vegas from CamaroCon. Oh, I wanted to walk up I wanted to walk the park that's up here, but there will be no lighting. Oh well. So I've already been up here for just under 4 weeks, and I will be here for another week from today. Then I fly home on the 17th and fly right back up here on the 20th. So the way the plan is right now is that I will remain here until March. Fuck me. That's not helpful either. I will remain here until March 1st, but I will have these periods where I go home. So that first little time home is actually going to be very busy. I have a lot going on. In fact, Mama Rilo is going to be in state, so I'm going to drive up to see her, show her the car. Plus a lot of other stuff. I need to bring more stuff up. Since I'm going to be here much longer, Exus has already sent that bunch of shit that I either forgot or figured out that I needed. So I'm going to pick that box up tomorrow, but I'm going to come back up with other stuff, and I'll talk more about that other stuff in a minute. I'll be back up here for about 10 days, and then I will go back down there for a week and a half, but not time off. It's going to be, I'll be working in Phoenix again during that time. So I'll fly down on I think it's the 1st. It's the Sunday after Black Friday. I'm going to fly down, and then I will come up. I'll do work there for a week, have a few more days off that next week, but come up and still work a full 48 here, and then I won't go back home until I think it's January 6th for about 10 days, and then I think it's February 9th for about 10 days. So and then that'll be it. So I'm only going to go home 4 times during these a little under 5 months. And in fact, it may be longer if, well, I'm here for so long that I have actually spent time this past week apartment hunting, because it is the company has a policy that they will the star rating or whatever you want to call it of your hotel has to be a certain level. They won't put you in a bad hotel, and so it's cheaper for them to find me an apartment. And fucking apartments here are expensive, but it will still be cheaper. However, the person that HR that usually handles that, she does it through a rep here, and that rep has not got back to her at all. So it's pretty much fallen on me. So I'm going to send her an email tomorrow with all that I have found. So I'm basically going to have a studio apartment here, and it looks like the minimum, except for one place, but that one place won't last long enough if I do a 3-month. It's going to be a 4-month lease. And if that happens, they're probably going to want me to stay here the full 4 months to get their money out of it. So that might extend me into, say, the middle of March. So it'll be kind of neat to have an apartment. The way things were going back home, still have my house with access in Tucson, but I was staying in that guest room up in Chandler, and a guest room is not an apartment. So I've been looking at the studio apartments that I have up here. So it'll be kind of neat. I won't want to take a bunch of the stuff that I have back home up here to decorate or anything. So one of the things that complicates it, though, is that not only do I need to get an apartment, but I need to get it furnished. And the company understands that, because it makes much more sense to rent furniture than it is to buy it. Because, I mean, they don't want me to rent an apartment and then not have a bed or anything else. So I will get whatever cheap, bed, couch, place to put a TV, I'm happy. And then I will also need, I think they're just normally called housewares. I'm fine with eating off of paper plates and plastic utensils, but I can't cook on a stove with those. So they have these sets where they'll bring full, they'll deck out your kitchen, toaster, coffee maker, other things I don't actually need or want for what I'm doing with my food. But what I might end up saying is, like, look, instead of doing this, because I saw a price sheet, $100-something a month to rent, for them to not even fill out, but give you a bunch of kitchen stuff. Pretty sure I can get a full pots and pan set for about $60. So I can say, look, how about I just get some paper stuff, plastic stuff, and then buy a set of pots and pans, expense that, and then when I leave here, all this shit can go into the big break room here in the office, and I mean, it's yours, so I'm not going to take it home. So and then does internet to the apartment get expensed, or does it, like, I have all these questions that I have to ask, because these days, it's fucking 2019, is internet considered a basic utility, like things like water and electricity, when it comes to getting expensed? Because I have internet in the hotel, so I have internet at home. So that'll be a yes or no, and if it's a no, then it's a no, but whatever. So so on to the subject of the good stuff. I have a breakthrough. So I'm still still working on the script, and it has definitely slowed down, and I've curbed a lot of what's been taking up a lot of time, and that is phone games. The issue with the sort of addiction to picking up my phone and progressing in these games, it has finally basically annoyed me to the point of stopping. So there is one game, it's an AFK game, so by its design, at some point you have to turn it off and let resources accrue. So is there going to be a bench with a light? So problem is I had a number of those going on, and one of them, which is good for someone who's looking to waste time, actually had a lot of things for you to do every day, and that's just not good for someone who's trying to wean off of their phone time. Even though I do have, at least back home, I would have some downtime at work where I could screw around on my phone for a little bit. You know what else I could do with that downtime? I could write. So I have went down to one phone game that has a pretty short list of things to do. Every other day it gets a little longer, but there is no extra stuff to do. In the other game you can just keep doing some stuff and keep trying things and so on, but with this one it's not. And there were other games too, and so I got fed up. I chose that one. I've played that one the longest. I don't spend money in it. It's odd. It's a game where you can spend money. You can get VIP levels and all that stuff, but there isn't actually any sort of attractive purchase. It's the main currency. You can buy diamonds, but you need so many diamonds to do summons that it's just unattractive to buy diamonds for that reason. And yet, it's a game where diamonds, you don't use diamonds for much. By far the best use of your diamonds is these summons. So since it would cost you a fuck ton of money to buy enough diamonds to do a worthwhile number of summons, and that's the only thing you want diamonds for, it makes it easy to say, okay, I'm not spending on this game. So that's good. That solves a problem that I have had in the past. So now there is one game on my phone. It takes a little bit of time each day, and that's it. There's nothing more to do in the game. I don't really browse Instagram that much anymore, and it's now what I'm doing is work has been much more busy up here. I'm actually doing stuff most of the time. I am training myself, I'm training others, I'm getting trained, and doing research, looking into the manuals in new ways where I'm getting more out of it than I used to, and that's why I'm here. They specifically want me here because being down there's a bit of a lull in activity down there, and I am no longer the only person who is able to cover shifts if someone on shift wants to go on vacation or whatever. So now that I am free from that, I was just going to be sitting in the cafeteria all day, every day. And up here, and my boss down there, it's weird, wishy-washy. It seemed like he was, but he wasn't willing to work with me when it came to a different schedule, because he knows that I am away from home and during the work week, and it seems like he doesn't care, and it isn't his responsibility to care. I am the one that applied for a job in another town, so that's my burden. But it seems like sometimes he's willing to try to work with me on something, but other times it's not, and he'll just say, no, you're 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. If I ask for something like, well, can I just do 410s instead, because that would be one less night in that guest room, one more night back home, it's a quick no. But at the same time, he'll tell me that he's, a week later he'll tell me that he's talking with upper management. Like, he'll give me a big long reason why the position that I currently occupy is an 8 to 5 and there is no budging, and then a week later he'll tell me that he's trying to work and get away where the other person who can cover shifts and myself will instead do one person's the front half of the week, the other person's the back half of the week, rotating, so that we actually cover, instead of us both being there 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, we could provide more coverage by being there 12 hours a day, every day of the week, covered between the two of us. So, I don't know. He's not a bad guy, he's not a mean guy, but at the same time, he seems uncaring sometimes. And, but either way, the opportunity came up to where, well, I could be up here. And that's what they're doing. That's why I'm up here for so long, is because there's nothing to do other than cover someone if they go on vacation. They have someone else for that now. Finally, they hadn't the entire time that I was working down there. I was the only other one. And so now I'm up here because I'm spending almost all of my work hours up here learning, doing, teaching. And that is much better use of company time. And yeah, they're paying for it, but they're willing to pay for it because this makes me much more useful to them, much quicker, and that means they get a lot, they get a better tech, if you want to put it that way. So that's why I'm up here. I learned that the machines that I am supposed to be working on, the reason why I was originally hired, got pushed back down there again. So I might be doing more of this sort of stuff. Nothing's planned, and that doesn't mean that I can't say no to it, and that doesn't mean that I can't make conditions like, okay, no more 5.5 months at a time type thing. But I'm fine with travel. I just rather it would be more piecemeal type thing. When I came up here, the original plan was for me to fly back. I was going to work here for 10 days, fly back for 4 every 2 weeks. That was the plan. They were doing that for me so that I would have time back home with her, and that changed. Now I'm only flying back 4 times in 5 months, and one of those times is only for a few days. So those other breaks are now longer, and but it helps me with making sure that I'm still down there when a major project is going on that I want to be a part of, and I'm up here for all of the bullshit that goes on up here. So I don't have the amount of time during work to do whatever. Technically I didn't before, but you can only read those manuals for so long before your head hits the keyboard. And so I was being productive just in a different way. Instead of just fucking around on the internet, I was trying to spend time on the script. And so now instead up here, I can't work on the car, I can't fuck around on my computer, I can't do house projects, I can't spend time with her. So that extra time up here is going to be spent on the script. And I'm okay with that, because up here I don't have things to go out and do. I'm not going to try to find a nightlife or anything like that here. It's going to be, when I go back to the hotel room or later on to the apartment, that's going to be my, I guess, don't writers do that sometimes? I'm not a writer. I am writing, but I'm not a writer. But don't writers do that sometimes? They'll leave their home and they'll go find a fucking cottage next to a lake or some bullshit and write. That was Colin Firth's part of Love Actually, I think. I think that's where I got that from. Like, sometimes writers will just go somewhere. And Secret Window. So anyway, I will do what I can to kind of set up that studio. Like, this is my workstation. This is my writing, and hopefully by the time I leave here, the writing is done. And the reason why it's such a thick project is because it's so long. So what I'm doing, what the project essentially is something that has been done for decades. People have thought about it. I can't know the first example, but people have done this just chatting amongst their friends, and I'm just doing it in the YouTube video form. People do it on YouTube already in a way, but they do it in, like, here's my 15-20 minute video of what I would do of something. Mine's not like that. Mine is a very, not critical, but critiquing. It's analytical, thoroughly analytical, and it is. I'm sitting on some green. I hope someone doesn't crawl into my fucking pants. It's gonna be 5 fucking hours long. So first off, about the script, I had a bit of a block. Not a block, just a problem that I hadn't solved yet. And it was on what is essentially the last big point that's being discussed about the game, before I start getting into wrapping up tinier details and then I get into the conclusion. So that's good. I figured that out. It was sort of just a stroke of something. I don't even remember where it came from, so it's great that I have that, and I'm in the process of writing that part now. After that, though, comes a part that I actually might be able to have help with from Exis, maybe, but the next part is, so I'm at 92, I'm on the 92nd page right now. I don't think I've hit 50,000 words yet, but I'm making a video. I'm making videos. Videos need something playing during the video. Now, some of the portion, I really like the kind of visual setup I've come up. I've already worked on that in Adobe, which I have unsubscribed from because I spent, what, 9-10 months this year paying for a program that I was pretty much not using. When I'm ready to start editing this thing, when I have footage and stuff, I'm gonna resubscribe and start putting all that together. There were still a couple little quirks with that I wanted to make sure I could do and figure out. Hopefully those are either solved or solvable problems. So I'll have to get to that when I get to that. Maybe I'll have to make some sacrifice on how I want the visual presentation to be. That's fine. I'm not going to let something stop me from making these videos. It's just that I hope that I can do what I want to do. I feel I should be able to, but that there are just tricks that I would need to learn. When I finish writing the script, I have to be aware of the fact that I'm not just going to be reading into a camera like I am now. I'm going to have other shit on the screen. Now, some of the screen is going to be taken up by text, some of it's going to be taken up by the camera, but some of it, there will always be gameplay, or at least images on the screen, and I need to pay attention to what's there, and I need to make sure that what is there is pertaining to what is being talked about, if possible. So once I finish writing the script, I'm going to have to go back through. I've been making little notes as I went along, because I'm doing this in GDocs, and so you can highlight a thing, and then over on the side you can click the thing to make a note. And I've been doing things as I've been going along. If I want to make sure, not everything, just the things where I want to make sure where I'm referencing something but I don't say it by name, I want to have a picture up so that you know what I'm talking about. It is a video on YouTube, therefore it is an audio-visual presentation. I don't need to spell everything out if I can just put a picture or video. So I've been doing that as I've been going along, just to make sure that I remember what the fuck I was talking about when I wrote this part, for one, but also to put it up on the screen when necessary. I'm going to have to do that for every single word in this going to be more than 50,000 word document. That's going to be a lot of time just making the notes, not actually recording and then finding and then editing in the footage. That all has to come later. Just doing that sort of note-taking, of making sure that I have every little bit assigned some piece of the game, that's gonna be a ton of work. So after I do that, I have to record. Now, big fucking thank you to Spite, who has helped me out in that regard. The games I'm recording are on mobile devices that don't have video outputs. So he has been helping me out with getting the right emulators, setting them up, and then getting my games in a ROM form so that I can use them and record. So most of the games have been figured out that I want to record from, not all. So that's, I still got to find out the rest of those little pieces and get those back together. And then for one of the games, I still have an issue with, I had already actually got the emulator and the game dump onto the computer, but the controls weren't working. No matter what I did, I could not figure out how to, in Citra Nightly, the one you're supposed to use, not the one that's, you know, here's the, you know, here's the beta build of the next version, or here's the developer version, or any of that crap. No, just the one that you're supposed to use. The site's pretty clear on that. I used it, and then I followed the directions for putting in control schemes, and they didn't work. You're supposed to edit an INI file and copy and paste, depending on which controller you have. There's a page that has 270-something controllers, I think it was. I found the correct ones, I put them in. I tested at least 4 different controllers. The Steam controller, Xbox One controller, PS4 controller, and Xbox 360 controller. None of them. Could not get any of them to work. So, that's that last little hurdle, and then I think I'm good on that game. But for I've got most of the rest of the games figured out. There are 8 different games that I'm thinking of, and I think only one I would not have. But if I figure out controls for one of them, I will actually have figured that one out as well, and can dump that one. So I'm almost there to the point where I can start doing that. I am going, on this trip home, part of what I'm going to come back up with is a PS4, because I want to play Knights of Azure, so that I can get to playing Knights of Azure 2 on the Switch. And with the PS4 will come its controller, so I'm going to use that with my laptop. And at that point, I will be recording all of these games, and I will finally get to the point where I'm actually recording footage. I've tested emulators work great. They work smooth. I can make the window bigger if I want. I can change the resolution. I can save and load without saying where to save to, which is nice. So I'm I said it. I went into much more detail about what this meant to me, but I said it in that member video in August, that it was, no matter what, even at this point, even the fact that I don't have the videos out yet, I don't even have the script finished, this is already something that I am extremely proud of. Now, I'll leave the details for that video, and if there are any members that are watching that didn't watch and know what I'm talking about, you can go back, the video's still there. And I want to leave that video for you guys, instead of just talking about it all here. I'm not still doing member videos just because no one watched it. That's fine. I still wanted to do it as a thank you, um, but I think I checked a couple weeks ago even. That thing still has like it had a couple views in the first 3 days for a total of 5 minutes on a 45-minute video, and then I checked at the 5 day mark, I think it was, and so one more view, and they watched the whole thing, and it was Robbie because he was talking to me about it. So I didn't continue to do them past the point because of that, and that's fine. It was something I did because YouTube said I should, but when I did it and it wasn't used, that's fine. That just meant that 45-minute was the shortest of 4 takes that I did because the audio was messing up or they were cut or whatever. On the other ones I couldn't use them or I missed stuff. So I recorded 4 times, tried to edit 4 times, so I put hours into that video. I'm not doing that again if it's not gonna go anywhere or be used. So that's the only reason I didn't do more of those. It's just, time and reward. So the script has got its last big hurdle. I am jumping over it now currently. In fact, I'm gonna go back to the hotel room tonight and write some more. The video recording is mostly figured out and will be started, and I know that I have been playing. You guys have, if you guys have, are in the Discord or looking at the games journal thread, I'm posting in there. I was playing a lot of Dragon Quest XI-S, the 3rd system I own the game for now, but that turbo mode during battle, although I wish it could be, it doesn't need to be faster, but the beginning and the end of it, it's still like trying to get through all those fucking messages those aren't sped up. At least it doesn't feel like it. So I'm very much enjoying it because I beat the game on stream with you guys. Or I think on that point I had to show you guys in video. That was when I was in Israel and I just recorded and put up videos. But I beat the game, so right now I'm just skipping all the cutscenes, skipping all the chat, just trying to get to that point again, and then I will play it slower, enjoy it, and then do the New Game Plus thing once I'm ready to do that, and so on. The Luigi's Mansion 3. There are some complaints I have, but I am fucking loving a lot of the little things that they did in there. Really, really neat. I am having fun playing games again, and that's what's been taking up some of my time too. I have just been playing games and enjoying it, and that's not something I've been doing for a long time. Even the phone games, they were more of a... They had a satisfaction factor because of the fact that I was progressing in them, even if it was incremental. But there wasn't a genuine satisfaction of just having fun, and I'm getting that. I do that with Dragon Quest. I'm having it with Luigi's Mansion. Pokemon's coming out, and I'll give it a... Those games were always more of a... Are you in the mood? Yeah? Alright. So, I'll get them, just to get them. I will play them, but I don't know if that'll go anywhere. And then I've got a lot more games that, again, I'm going to bring the PS4 up so I can play through Knights of Azure, because I did like what I played out of it before. It's just that it wasn't very it wasn't that good for the stream, so did not continue that then, but I will now. So I like that a lot of the barriers are out of the way of getting this video done. Obviously it's not getting done nearly as soon as I wanted, but can't help that. But then I had another thought. Maybe even when I get it done, I might want to hold off on putting it out. Why would I want to do that? Well, some people, people who have the means, I had the means before, Exodus, it was tough. It was very tight, and we were getting to a point where it was kind of breaking, but Exodus supported me while I made YouTube a thing. But then I wasn't really making much or anything anymore off YouTube, and so that had to stop. And there are other people out there who are still doing that, who can do YouTube full time, not streaming, making videos like the kind I'm gonna make, a straight VOD. And what I'm doing has been done before, but like I said, not like I'm doing it. What I am doing is so much more intense and in depth and long. Most of the people do this stuff in their little 15-minute videos, and it's so just surface level, and it's not anything that I'm interested in. I don't want to do that. Um, those guys might have more punch, more bang for the buck. It might be more enjoyable for that 15 minutes, and then you're done. You watch for 15 minutes, and you've got the gist of it, and you let your own mind wander. And but for me, I'm going through the nitty gritty, and I'm hoping that people are really into that. The those people, when they see what I've done, I'm thinking ahead, and again, I'm thinking in the way of the the cautious approach, and I've done that in a number of ways with the channel. I had a PO box instead of my home address, obviously. Her and I haven't shared our real names, and we don't want to. I didn't talk about the, even though Project Dreamer got turned into stage 3 of or what was going to be the third game of Project Raider, and is now not a thing anymore. Still not even really wanting to talk about that, even though I could, because now it's inapplicable, which is why it's not a thing. I think I talked about it a little before anyway, but it might have been in that member video. I can't remember. The Halo retrospective videos that I did, I held those close to the chest before putting them out. And no one watched them. And if people had our names, maybe nothing would have happened. P.O. box instead of an address is a no-brainer, though. Just don't do that. But and I'm hoping this takes off, not because I'm hoping to become successful off YouTube or anything like that. I have my dream car in the garage right now because I have a job that lets me afford it. And also because my dream car is not a fucking Lamborghini or Bugatti or something like that. My dream car was way cheaper. But I'm fine with working and earning a paycheck and that sort of stuff. I'm not trying to make a life off YouTube. But those that do, those that can, those that have succeeded, or those that are getting help in order to make it to where they can, if they see this, what I'm hoping out of this is that I learn a lot, is that I open up a lot of dialogue and I get people to think about games in a more, try to approach game, instead of just having a criticism of a game or a game system, they need to realize why it is the way it is, and to think through the consequences of changing that. So, and to interact a lot in the comments section. I don't really have to worry about comment sections too much on, the VOD that goes up of a live stream. Instead, the interaction is during the live stream. I still do those comments. I get notifications for them, but I might have a lot of interaction going back and forth in the comments on these videos, and that's great because I'm looking forward, because the way that I'm presenting everything in the video, it's because as far as I could think about things, that's the way that I thought to do it, and that was the right way to do it. But maybe that's maybe there's a way that I would think is even better, but I don't know about it yet. And so the dialogue going back and forth is something that I'm very interested in seeing. And maybe even other people will make videos about it, and we'll be able to kind of shoot back and forth that way. I don't know if that's something that I would leave or do on the Rilo channel unless it was responding to a bunch of them. But the point is, those people that have succeeded and have made YouTube what they do, if they see what I do and they like what I did on this specific game, what if they then turn around and do it on other games and they take my games away, the ones that I have planned. I have the second one planned. I need that second one. That second one is another big one. Past that, I don't know. And maybe even the comments from the first video will be, hey, please do this. And maybe it'll be in there. Maybe that'll be where it comes from. Maybe it'll come from Excess. Maybe it'll come from you guys. But I don't want what I'm doing to be taken from me before I can make it my thing. So what if, and I'm not saying take as long, but what if when I finish with this one and I get it done and I get it edited and all that stuff, I go ahead and I do the second one also. And so when I put them out, the second one's done, and if I see any of that sort of thing going on, bam, I can drop the second one to show I already had it. You can't, even if that game, most likely if someone else did it like I did on this game, they would do it on some other game entirely and I wouldn't have to worry about it. But even if it ends up being the same game, they somehow pick the same game, I can drop the video the day of or the day after to show, no, motherfucker, I was doing this, and then I drop those videos, because that game is another one that's going to be, 5+ hours of talking. So, I can't do that if I simply publish the first one when it's done. I can't do that until the second one's done. So the positive to doing it that way is that I would have my ass covered and kind of cement, in a way, my stake on, this is my territory, this is my thing. I may not have the cadence that you guys can. And in fact, one negative to doing it this way is that if I put out one and then a month later I put out the other, people are going to think, oh, he can knock these fuckers out once a month. No. We're going on, fuck me, beginning of next month, beginning of December. I think December 8th would be right about 18 months since I first started writing that script. So I cannot now. Sure, the second one may go quicker, but it's an entirely different game. It's an entirely different beast. So maybe it won't. Maybe it'll go longer. Maybe it'll go quicker. But that, if that one goes quicker, that I can't take that to mean that the third one will. So I don't know. That's something to think about. But the fact that I'm actually going to have at least a little bit of help from Waterboy on the second one. And I guess there are other people that I could bring in, but I'm most interested in his analysis on it. There are a couple other people in particular that I think I would like to have a back and forth with, but I don't. I could get in contact with them, but I don't have that sort of in a project like this, I don't think that they would want to make the time for it. And then there's actually a person here in town that I used to know that lived back in Tucson. And I'm going to be here for a while. He could help me with this first one, but I talked to him a little bit about it before. He kind of had the wrong idea. So I think I'll just leave that alone. Anyway. So I've rambled for 45 minutes, so I'm happy to find this nice, I had nice shit to look at, guys. Down in Tucson, it's just stucco everything, but up here, it's really nice. I'm really liking the scenery up here. It's, as someone who's spent 5 years of their childhood that they remember in Alaska, I'm very much going to welcome the cold. I'm still acclimated to it from back then, and so I'm going to love seeing the snow, and I'm going to love all of fall. Most of these, or a lot of these, don't have leaves anymore at all. They're all over the place. It's going to be neat to actually be somewhere cold for Christmas season. So that's this job vlog. I don't know the cadence of these. Again, I've been here almost a month. I don't know how often I will do them, but I've tried. I actually tried to do this one a couple weeks ago, but it didn't work out because there were just too many people around, too much noise. So I'm gonna try to keep this up. I didn't want it to be something where I was just sitting in the hotel room. Something out here just felt better. Starting on a walk felt better, and so yeah, I don't even that subscription to Adobe, cutting that means that I'm not even going to get to edit this before it goes up. I'm just going to have to hope that the audio quality is okay, that it drowned out the back enough, that it got me well enough. So there's not fucking anything I can do about it. If it's atrocious, then maybe I'll see if there's a free program that can do some audio tweaking. But anyway, I wasted a number of months of money spending on that Adobe monthly subscription, and I don't want to be wasteful with money like that. So I will see you guys soon. One of the things that got sent up in that care package was the external capture card for the laptop. So yes, streaming might be a possibility. It won't in the hotel. I will have to see in the apartment, because the hotel speed was so slow that I was rubber banding the entire time I was trying to play and get those skins in Overwatch for the Halloween. And usually online games only need about 1 meg up and down. Thought I had enough, in practice did not. So I'm not going to try to stream in those situations, in that circumstance, but that doesn't mean that I can't record from it. So we'll see. I do want to get this back and forth going with you guys a lot more, and I wouldn't mind streaming just to relax. Again, those games that I'm playing and relaxing during, I can stream those once in a while. It's just that every time I did that this year, I don't think it's because it was on the barge instead of the main channel, but it's just when I play and I want to hang out because that's what I miss, and then no one shows up, I wonder why I bother all over again. So we'll see. We'll see if how much activity we can keep going on in the Discord, and if there's a bunch of people that are still interested, then yeah, absolutely, I will make the effort to continue to interact with you guys. Maybe I could do a weekly stream, as long as people are hanging out. As long as people are hanging out. So maybe we can figure out a time for that. So anyway, I'm gonna walk back. So I will see you guys when I see you.